Good afternoon, parents, and welcome to Spring 2024 Village School Athletics. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this. I wanted to do a virtual or kind of a more, online version. I know it's difficult to get families here, parents here in the evening when it's family time and kids have just left practice, and it's difficult. So this way you can watch it at your leisure. A lot of the messaging is going to be the same, but I really wanted to touch base with some of our, athletes that are trying a spring sport for the first time, or maybe they're new to the school and we're finally offering the sport that they wanted in the spring. Springtime, we have track and field from lower school all the way to high school. Baseball's in our high school level. We have tennis, both middle school and high school, and lacrosse. We'll have middle school, and this year we're trying to launch it in the high school. Coaches have worked hard to try to get a schedule together for our high school lacrosse, but if that's going to take place, we need the commitment from the athletes. We can have the coaches, we can have the schedule, but we need those athletes to make it happen. So that's what's going to be happening here in the springtime. And, ultimately, similar messaging, this is education-based athletics. We're going to continue to use athletics as the vehicle to teach principles, to teach life skills. And the extension of the classroom goes to those fields, goes to those courts, goes to the track. So in all levels, from being able to learn about not only yourself, but about maybe a new sport, but to also the way we conduct ourselves, right? From sportsmanship to behavior, the rules of the classroom and the school rules extend even when we're off campus or on campus for a meet or a game. It's a holistic and kind of whole approach to athletics. So after being here for a year and a half in this position, there's a lot of things that we're doing well, and there's a lot of things we'll continue to do, but there's also some things that, we're going to change or evolve to try to make things even better. We know we all want competitive sports, and if we need to take it up a level, whatever we've done to get us here, the work ethic, the way we approach in season and off season, we have to change that. What we've done to get here is not going to get us to that next stage. So when we start to talk about off-season programs for spring as we roll into the summertime, what does the summertime look like? What's the summer commitment going to be, especially for our rising ninth graders and our high school athletes? Because, we can't just stop. We have to continually build and develop and improve upon, where we are at the end of that season. So some of those things are going to be a little bit different, and the expectation is going to be a little bit higher if we want to continue to grow and become more competitive. You're going to meet with all of your coaches within that first week or so of practices starting. All of the coaches are going to have team meetings. That'll be your opportunity to meet them, ask questions, and start building that relationship between parent and coach. And those, like I said, happen once practices start within that first week of practices. So pay attention to Sports U, and just listen out for those dates, times and dates that you'll be having those. We get into practices. Practices are sacred. That's the area where the most development and teaching can take place. So, different levels practice different days of the week. Our varsity teams are going to practice 5 days a week. Depending upon the week, a coach may use at their discretion to give an off day, but practice is paramount. That's where it's going to all happen. The field or the court is where, you see the work that you put in the practices. So please arrange to be there as much as you can. It also has to do with varsity letters, right? If we're not at a certain amount of practices and those sorts of things, that could hinder the eligibility of a varsity letter. And again, coaches will go over those things with you guys. I mentioned Sports U. Once the teams are set and we have all the participation forms, you'll be sent an email with a join link for the Sports U for that particular team. And that's the most effective way and efficient way to communicate. You don't have to worry about checking emails. It's an instant notification. So make sure when you log into your SportsU, it's a free app, turn your notifications on. So that way, if there's a change in practice, if there's a change in the time of a start of a match or a track meet, you're notified immediately. A lot of our facilities for spring are off campus. So, we may get an email or a phone call in the middle of the day that says something's changed to that facility, or we need to make an adjustment. We let you guys know immediately through SportsU. Any issues or absences, okay, make sure those are communicated to coaches, right? Even academics, if we're struggling in something, have that open line of communication. So I've asked coaches to take attendance daily. They have a practice plan. They show up to practice thinking that they're going to have a full roster and a full team. And if for some reason they don't, that's okay. They can adjust their plan accordingly as long as they know ahead of time, right? We talk to the athletes about sportsmanship on campus and away. That's something that I know you guys as parents harp on as well, but just know that sportsmanship is a huge part, right? And we're all going to make mistakes. We all want the best, but just when we're at some of these events, just make sure that we're abiding by and doing what's best. Again, be that ultimate role model for our athletes. Injuries and illness. If a student athlete is on campus and they're not feeling well, obviously, number one, they should check in with the nurse. The nurse will notify our athletic trainer, Gabby. If they're injured or need rehab, obviously they'll check in with Gabby. But all of us talk and all of us need to be on the same page so that if somebody is ill, obviously the nurse is notified and then we're notified so we can at least check in on them or at least know, they went home with this illness or they're out of school because of this illness. And that kind of helps, again, from that coaching plan to all of us kind of being on the same page. And then how can we support the athlete if he or she is ill? And we obviously want what's best for them. So make sure Nurse Stephanie, if a child is ill during the day, that they check in with her, and then obviously she'll notify Gabby. Any injuries or anything of that nature, they have to see Gabby. That's a liability. She clears them. So if it's an ankle issue or whatever it may be, Gabby can assess. Obviously, student athlete can go to their doctor and do what's needed there. That doctor and then Gabby become in communication, and then they get on a plan for the athlete's return to play. So it's just really important that all lines of communication for illnesses or injuries are there. Okay. Really, just the only other thing I'd like to make sure you guys know coming up is that as we move into the spring, we have winter break in February, we have spring break at the very end of March and early April. Especially at the high school level, there may be some times, especially going into spring break, our varsity district tennis matches are the week after. There might be some times where, coaches are going to have a practice or two during an off week. It's just to continue to develop. It's just to continue to have those touches. So, we don't take 9 days off in a row and then come back and be ready to play or come back and feel like we're in the same condition. So even if it's not a practice on campus, coaches may ask, track may ask those athletes to go make sure they get certain mileage in or certain repeats done. Those are important. And so again, there is, especially at the high school level, there is some sacrifice from a family standpoint. I'm a parent. I have a high schooler. I know how it is. And those are things you do because, again, at the end of the day, it's about your kid. It's about the kids, and they love it, and they want to be successful. And that's going to take work. We all know being successful in something is going to take a certain amount of work, right? And that old adage of it takes what it takes, that's what we have to live by. So, like I said, I appreciate your time and really appreciate the athletes being here because I can have, like I said, I can have the coaches, we can have a schedule, but without those athletes, it doesn't happen. And without you guys making sure they're there, getting to and from, and doing what we need to do on the home front, it doesn't happen either. So thank you guys very, very much. Be on the lookout for that information from your coaches via SportsU about when those team meetings will be, parent meetings will be, and you guys can ask any and all questions to the coaches, okay? Thank you again for your time. Hope you guys have a great day. Go Knights.